Hey everyone, Pedro here with our Mitchell wrench. What's the point of having a Mitchell tie down if you're not applying the proper torque to it and getting it really tight? So, this is kind of almost a must-have in my book. If you're going through the trouble of using the Mitchell system, you're going to want to put the right amount of torque on the nut so that you get the most benefit out of such a strong securing device like the Mitchell. The Mitchell Castle Nut and thread has been around for, I don't know, 100 years. It's a standard that the movie industry came up with very early on. It started out as a real typical castle nut. That word comes from the fact that it looks like a castle. And then eventually people like J.L. Fischer, I have an actual J.L. Fischer Mitchell nut right here, and they use sort of these round posts. And then other people over the years started using these sort of little aluminum standoffs and these 1/4-20 screws. And this is the design that we used when we decided to make Mitchell nut and thread. One of the great things about a Mitchell is that you can apply a lot of force to it, and it can put a lot of torque on whatever you're tightening with it. The tricky part about that is you need to be able to have some sort of tool to tighten it to that length. And so, of course, there's a lot of sort of DIY ways of doing it with the crescent wrench or whatever. The grips out there, I've seen them tighten Mitchell nuts a million different ways. But usually they either fit one kind of nut or another. What we did is, this is kind of version 2 of our Mitchell wrench, actually. Our first one, we just had these sort of concentric holes that lined up with our Mitchell nut in various different positions. You can actually use the handle also. That lines up just the same. But in our version 2, it came to my attention that our wrench did not work with the DJI version of the Mitchell nut, and more importantly, with like a J.L. Fischer version of the Mitchell nut. We came up with this new design that both works on the J.L. Fischer nuts, it works on our Mitchell, and it works on the DJI Mitchell Castle Nut also. I actually stopped by Chapman Leonard, and they use the same style we do with the little posts, and so ours is also compatible with the Chapman Leonard. So as far as my testing, this works on at least 3 different styles of Mitchells. We got many different kinds of castle nuts here today, and it can, on these pin style, this is made by somebody else, it can fit on the pins or on that opening. Or if you have one like this one, where the pins don't quite line up, you can still use it on the opening. Here we have a really old castle nut, which is actually made with pins. It's very similar to the Chapman one. And the pins actually line up, and so you can use the pins on this one, and you can use a larger one if you want. So that's really cool. And so, here you can see it on the J.L. Fischer that they were nice enough to lend me, and sure enough, you see there's some play, and it's really easy to tighten. It fits right over the Mitchell thread, and there's one position, and then you reset the wrench. Now on our castle nut, it's a little different because it uses just the 1/4-20 socket heads as the posts, so you can actually line up the wrench in a lot more different positions. And of course you can also use the handle. And so where that becomes really useful is the fact that if you have 2 standoffs, which is like 2 posts that raise the Mitchell, which means you don't have a lot of room to swing the wrench. It's nice to be able to sort of clock the wrench just a tiny bit and get it to turn, take it off, reset it, clock it a tiny bit and get it to turn. It works much better than when you just have one set of one place you can put your wrench. You know, it's kind of a simple tool. We got a hole here. You can wear it on your hip, on your tool belt. But the most important thing is to have the right tool to get that castle nut really tight, especially if you're doing vehicle work, or you know it's going on a crane and it's going over an actor's head or something. You want to make sure you apply as much torque as you can on there and get it really tight. And so this is why we came up with a very nice CNC billet Mitchell wrench that allows you to do all of that. I hope you get a lot of use out of this. We priced it as aggressive as we could, so people were not shy about adding this to their order, because honestly, what's the point of having a Mitchell tie down if you're not applying the proper torque to it and getting it really tight? That's it, guys. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest product announcements. And you know, we got a lot of cool customer photos on there, give you a lot of different ideas. And thanks a lot for supporting us over the years. We got a lot of cool stuff coming out in 2019, so keep an eye out for that. A lot more vehicle mounts and grip sort of rigging equipment. We're getting into that a little bit. And that's it. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on set.